Alrighty, some of you didn't quite get the paying my taxes video because you don't know about a certain person who I'm going to talk about now. I'm not going to use their name, I don't want to promote them. And just to make sure they ain't promoted, you may realise the comments are turned off. This person is unbelievable. And you may already know who I'm talking about if you've seen this guy. He's one of a kind. He is funny crazy. Very funny crazy. He's got a huge ego. Is one of the most fumbling, incompetent people you've ever come across, and is unbelievably hypocritical. He can contradict himself in the same sentence, and you've never seen some antics like this guy has. And as I said, you know, he's not really somebody that I want to promote. So I'm not going to really say who it is, but one thing I am going to do here is try and help the guy. Now, like most advice that's given to him, I think it'll just fall on deaf ears, but at least I can then say I tried. This is it's so funny, I don't know where to start. I will say one thing. He wonders why we all watch him. And he's got all these theories. He never asks us, he just sticks to these theories. One of his theories is that we're all bored and we all want to live our life like he lives his, and that's why we watch him. And I got to tell you, dude, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. We watch you because you're a kind of funny that you just can't be found. There's some people that believe it's all an act. You're the sort of guy who could lecture somebody else about doing their shoelaces up and trip over your own shoelaces 20 seconds later, catch it all on camera, and then turn around and say, "Oh guys, I didn't expect that to happen." That's the sort of dude you are. Only you could do something like that. Tell somebody else that they should be doing it, then the same problem bites you on the arse, and then you turn around and say, "Geez, I didn't see that coming." And video it and make us all laugh, all in the space of a few minutes. I must admit there are a lot of nasty jokes about you in the comments, but some of those are, as much as they're nasty, they're very funny. And people primarily come to watch the comments. I must admit that a lot of the times I don't even watch any of your videos. I just read the comments, and most of us do that. But I do download your Hangouts, because somewhere in amongst 2 hours of rambling shit, there is usually some brilliant gems, and that's how I pass the time driving to work, because I spend 2 hours every day driving to work. Let's get on to some of the funny hypocritical things, and then I'll give you a little bit of advice and tell you a few hard things that you don't seem to realise. And one of those things I might as well say right now is that friends of yours met up with you in Vegas and gave you some good hard advice. One would be to stop with all the negativity. And instead of taking that advice yourself, you then say, "Hey, this is a good bit of advice I should be lecturing all these trolls about." Dude, you completely missed the point. Rosie and all these other people gave you that advice for you. Not for everyone else, but for you. Because quite honestly, you wonder at the moment why people threaten you. And you just sort of go around, it's all bad and they shouldn't do it. Dude, you have slandered 97% of all the people who have ever given you money. Okay, that's it. Simple facts. 95, maybe to 98%, but probably about 97% of all the people who have given you money, you have later slandered them. And some of them you slander 2 or 3 times a week. And, you know, I've literally seen you slander some of these people 3 days in a row. And of course, these things, like all things in life, have repercussions. That's why they go and contact your family. And let's face it, one of these people has told me directly about 3 times that they want to shank you. And they actually wanted to, you know, probably, well, take her out permanently. But they wanted to shank you on camera and upload it to YouTube. Now that sounds really fucked up, and to most people that is really fucked up, but then you consider all the people who have helped you out that you have just stabbed in the back a week and a half later, and you simply got what's coming. It's as simple as that. See, there's such a thing in life as consequences. This is the same talk that Mr. Y was trying to tell you when you were having breakfast in Vegas that time, you know, and everybody else, about planning for the future. You know, Rosie chimed in that she's planning to, you know, be able to have a good retirement, and Mr. Y said, you know, something along the lines of planning for the future and not really living for the moment. And it might sound like freedom to you, but let's face it, how many of us are sitting there begging for days, needing $466 to fix our teeth? How many of us? Okay, one person, their daughter died recently, they didn't have any money for the funeral. Yes, they asked for money for the funeral, because they quoted $5,000 and they just didn't have that sort of money straight away. But it's sort of really funny, you know, you can come out there and you can sit there and tell us, one day you tell us that we're all ham and eggers, and we're all miserable in our lives, working a job, blah, 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 we're corporate slaves, yada, yada. I've heard it for a year and a half now. And then you come out on occasion and just suddenly turn around and say, well, no, we're all sitting on welfare. So what does it do? Are we sitting on welfare, or are we all working? Which one is it? Make your mind up. You all tell us that we could never afford a beautiful rig like your one. Fuck me. My car costs more than that, and I pay for my car in cash. You haven't worked for so long, you don't understand how wealthy other people are. I mean, seriously. You know, I could show you a bit of shit on camera right now, and you'd need Rosie to buy you some more underwear, because you'd shit your underwear if I showed you a few things that aren't very far from where I'm sitting right now, involving wealth, you know. But this is the thing. You sit there and tell us that we couldn't afford something that most of our cars are already more expensive than. Then you got to tell us that we can't afford what we call a caravan. You can call it a camper trailer, whatever. And then a couple of nights later, you're doing a hangout, begging for this $466 for these teeth that need fillings, and you're sitting there like a good old Arab guy over in Arabia in the markets. You get the calculator out and you start calculating, you know, almost like you're trying to barter a price to us, how much we're all going to give, and oh, well, if it's $5 it's this much, and if it's $8 it's this much, maybe you know, it's $10 that's too much, maybe if you all gave us $8.50 or $8, that should almost cover me teeth being fixed for the amount of people that are watching. And then, of course, nobody gives any money, and then you're all crack the shits that Yeah, you couldn't even buy a McDonald's sandwich for that and da-da-da. Well, I thought McDonald's makes burgers and wraps. They do here. But whatever. You're too cheap to buy this for me? Well, hang on a minute. First of all, you're telling us we're all broke and we couldn't afford a camper trailer, and then you're demanding that we give you $466. So what's going on? I'll tell you how much dough I've got. Not even in cash, just in silver and gold bullion. And no matter what you've heard, yes, you can buy silver and gold bullion as a civilian. I can get hold of campers that have been, a little bit of damage. Something falls off someone's roof rack and smashes a window. They, a little scuff mark with a bumper where a car scuffs down the side of them. They're fix-upable machines. They're not too bad. If I sold out on my gold and silver, I could afford around 30, maybe 35 of these things. No joke. I've even seen an RV that's for sale that nobody even wants to buy. It was one with a little roof that pops up. The roof tore off as it was driving. Nobody wants to buy it. It's probably got rain in it by now. But anyway, badly damaged ones that are just good for ripping stuff out of. Like a fridge, oven, microwaves, water pumps, water tanks underneath, all that sort of stuff. I can quite literally get them for $1. But better ones that are barely need any repairs, I could afford about 30 to 35 of them, and that's not even touching any cash. Now, one of the ones you talk about is that you should do up and sell rigs. Dude, you are less mechanically competent than my 65-year-old mother, who is not even interested in mechanical things. You had a brilliant opportunity with your father as a wholesale car dealer, or, bought from wholesale auctions and resold them privately, or whatever he'd done at his car yard, however it worked out. You had ample opportunity to see cars being fixed and to learn how to fix them. Yet it took you 3.5 hours to replace 6 inches of hose and 2 hose clamps. You can't make this shit up. It's this sort of shit that makes people laugh. And that's why they watch you. They laugh as they watch this stuff because they can't actually believe that somebody is so unbelievably incompetent. And is so hypocritical and yet has such a large ego. You're always going on about how you got the perfect body. Dude, you've got guts on you that are bigger than some pregnant women. It's your heart attack material. Every woman wants a body like this. Flaming hell, look at your guts. Do you play your videos back to look at your guts? Do you ever look at your guts in the videos? Well, apparently, you also said the only person you watch on YouTube is yourself because you are so entertaining. But in that, you obviously didn't take any notice of how big your guts are. Dude, just look down. They're right in front of you. You don't have a great body. You are really risking your health. And it's all part of this freedom, do as I want, do whatever I want every day. Look, as Mr. Y was trying to tell you and Rosie was trying to say when you had breakfast in Vegas that time, you got to build for the future. You think you're going to be, like, you look at your mum, how old your mum is, right? You're going to be like that one day if you don't die of a heart attack before you get there, which you probably will, but could you imagine being your mother's age and still living in a van? You wouldn't be able to do it. Someday you'll need a nursing home. You might have to pay for these things. Someday you're going to find that, you're not young forever. And you've got to plan for these days when things fuck up. You've got to plan for the day when 2 teeth need fillings and you need $466. Not live every moment on a whim with no money left. Really. And you think, we're all the dickheads? We've got a plan and a goal, and we're sticking to these plans and these goals, and even NASA will make, you know, his goals come to reality. And you think you got life made, and every day that you're in Florida, what, you're sitting next to a beach or a lake or some shit, or you're walking down the beach with a camera, and if you're not doing that, you're somewhere in another state, sleeping all day, and sitting in your van making rants all night. I think you only get out of that van to have a shit. Honestly, you spend so much time either sitting in that van or walking by the beach, parking down at the beach, sitting by the beach, walking along the beach. Dude, it's boring. I couldn't sit in a van all the time. I couldn't go to the beach every day. I would die of boredom. Plus, I've got a goal that I'm working towards. But honestly, you know, you can do what you want. But like many of the things that you've done that you want to do, it's all about to burn you. Seriously though, if your family gave up on you, what would you have? You'd have that clapped out 27-year-old van that's got so many things wrong with it. You know, you've got a crack in the shower base so you can't have a shower in the thing. You know, you can't fill your water tank properly, your engine's making ticking noises, there's probably so many other damn things that need replacing. You've got battery issues, like you never set up a solar thing. And you couldn't set up solar things because you wouldn't know what the frickin' hell you're doing. You know, really, seriously. Let's have a look at a few things here. I have a solar system in here. Now, one solar system, which I'm not going to show you, runs that light. There's another one that runs a cold water shower here. And you can't see the bloody battery, but at least you can see the charge controller. The solar panels on the roof. There's a hot shower, and that one there is the cold shower. And if you really can see, I've actually got 3 shower heads in your shower. Yeah, don't go short on showers. Unlike you, I don't go short on showers. And then there's another solar rig that runs this little magical device. This is a 12-volt fridge that has the ability to freeze and deep freeze. And I don't need to spend any money on propane. This thing has been switched on for 3.5 years straight and never been turned off. Because it works. There's never anything to fix on these things that get built. But anyway, long story short, there's also another one out here. What I'm trying to tell you is, most of us guys, I don't know if you can see the green glow there, but there's another charge controller inside a box there, and that would be a cigarette lighter plug to run off the battery that's inside that box, which happens to be a sealed lead-acid battery that is quite an expensive one. Long story short, I've just showed you 4 solar systems that I have built entirely myself. And you have trouble replacing 6 inches of hose, 2 hose clamps. Dude, you got to wake up to how much you're behind the rest of us, you know. And that's, you can't even admit to where you are on the scale of things, really. And you're at the bottom of the scale, and that's why people laugh so much. And that's what entertains them. And it's a sad fact, you know, but everybody can do whatever they want to do. You sit there and you call Gerald failed. Why is that? Because one tree he cut went down on his mum's pool? I hate to tell you, but sometimes you cut trees and they just don't go the way you want them to. It's as simple as that. But he's not failed because he's actually got a job. He's got so much money that he's spending $18 on cups of frickin' ice cream, which I frankly think is a waste of money. But if he needed $466 for teeth, those teeth would be done tomorrow, you know. You can live in your dreamland, but this is the trouble. The longer you live in this dreamland, the worse reality is going to hit you. And there's going to be one day it's going to hit you. People are giving you advice. You misinterpret and misunderstand this advice. You don't even get the point of the advice. And the fact is they're trying to save you from a bad situation. And you're still so busy trying to do things your way that you haven't realised that trolls push your buttons because they can, and because you're very easily fired up because you expect the entire world to bend for you. Look, it's not going to bend for you. You can sit there telling us all that you're made in the image of an alien god, but none of us believe it. Because no alien god would be that fat for a start. Secondarily, he wouldn't have that much hair on his back. Or on his guts. You can get all wound up and excited that we're all too much of tight asses to give $5 each. Do that. We'll just sit back and not donate and then see you go off your nut. You're the one who upset yourself because we didn't follow your actions, but what have we got to make us follow your actions? You've given us no incentive, you've given us nothing, and actually it's quite funny because we all know what's going to happen, and what's going to happen is when you don't get your own way, you chuck a tantrum. And then we all laugh again, so we'll deliberately make sure that you don't get what you asked for just so that we can see you chuck a tantrum. See? You think you're telling us how it is? And we're playing the game here because we know what triggers you and makes you go off. So who's the dumb one and who's the smart one? You can't seem to understand that no matter what you want and how you want, you can say that you're made in the image of an alien god, but there's nothing that says we have to accept it. But it's really funny when we don't accept it and then you crack the shits, because then we start laughing. You can tell the world that you're a frickin' astronaut or whatever you want. The rest of the world doesn't have to accept it. And some of the claims you make about yourself are just contradictory to what we see on the screen. Like that you couldn't do anything wrong. You've also told us that you can turn your hand to anything you want to do, whether it's even be a CIA agent. Yeah, that's what you said. If you turned your hand to be an FBI or CIA agent, you'd be... Look, dude, you wouldn't get in the FBI. First of all, you're too fat. Second of all, you're not fit enough. Third of all, you're expected to take orders from superiors and you can't do that. You can't even take advice from people, let alone take orders from a superior. But remember, you're a custom-made man and you're going to do everything your way. You'll keep doing it that way until, well, with a bit of luck, your family gives up on you and you end in a cardboard box. And it's a wonder you aren't in a cardboard box already, under a bridge or whatever. Anyway, I've given a bit of advice. There's a book I had and it said that life throws little pebbles, and if you don't take any notice, then it starts throwing bricks. You're at the brick stage. And then if you don't notice any of the bricks, then it starts throwing boulders. You don't want to get to the boulder stage, but you're getting very close to the boulders because they're not quite boulders, but they're bigger than bricks now. Wake up, smell the roses by getting all these egotistical bullshit thoughts out of your head and listen to the advice and try and understand that they give you this advice so that you don't fall in any of these pit holes or wake up under a bridge or in a cardboard box or a combination of both. Anyway, you'll probably ignore all this and hopefully you can upload those videos when you're in the cardboard box.